And now we have just started winter. So I figured that this is actually the best time at the beginning of winter to talk about how you can actually best take care of your body, your health, your wellness, your emotional being in this season. Okay, so just to give you guys some, basics, okay, and as I mentioned that each season, there are 5 seasons, remember, 2 summers, each season has its corresponding natural element, okay, and now winter is corresponding to the element of water. Yes, water, finally. So autumn was corresponding to metal, and now winter is corresponding to the water element. Now, some of you are thinking, what is the significance of the water element in winter? Okay, so a lot of you probably know that water is the most nourishing and it is an essential substance for life, right? We all need water to survive and we all need water in our food, and water is really there to nourish us. So this actually means when it comes to like winter, it means that this is actually the time. And okay, if you think about water, right? Water actually stores energy. Water stores things. It stores the life essence. It stores our human body energy as well. So which means winter is actually the time to actually conserve our energy, to store our energy, and which means it is very crucial to rest in winter. Okay, so in summer is the best season to basically go out there, be fired up and do lots of actions, right? Getting to all that movement. But in summer, this is when we find stillness and find the rest. Okay, and as I mentioned in autumn, I was already telling you guys that autumn is the time to start slowing down. Now, winter is the time to really slow down, and not saying that slow down and be still, like you're not doing anything, just sit there, right? But we're talking about like on the energetic level, right? This is the time to stop the hustling. This is the time to basically stop overworking or stop doing too much things, because what happens is, if you're overworking in winter, and if you're doing a lot of excessive activities or like lacking sleep in winter, this can actually deplete the water element, right? We want to be in harmony with the water element in winter. So if we're like overdoing things, if we're overworking, over fatiguing ourselves, this will actually dry our energy. Dry our energy meaning taking away the water, nourishing, and also this will harm our kidney health. Okay, I'm gonna go into details of kidney health in a second. Right, so this is something I want everyone to really remember, right? Do not overwork yourself in winter. Give yourself the time to like rest. Give yourself the time to reflect. You see, the animals, the nature, if you observe nature, right? Once again, I gotta remind everybody, every body that we have, our bodies is essentially a microcosm of the universe, of the nature. The seasons change, everything that's happening, the sun, the moon, that is actually reflected inside our body here. Okay, so we cannot ignore that, and we cannot be just, doing whatever we want without actually paying attention to the seasonal changes. Okay, so one thing I want to mention to everyone is that winter also has its own corresponding emotion, right? So the winter emotion is actually fear. Okay, it is very easy to go into feeling fearful, go into feeling depressed, or what else, like sad in winter. Well, especially the feeling of fear, being afraid, is amplified in winter. It is very, very easy to cultivate that. But at the same time, we don't want to have too much fear in us, right? We want to find that balance. We want to be able to basically conquer the fear and to be sure that, we're not staying in the mode of being fearful all the time. Okay, so there are a few things we can do. Okay, but before we get into it, I will tell you guys what to eat in winter that can best strengthen, your willpower, the opposite of fear, and also best strengthen your corresponding organ for winter, which is kidney and urinary bladder. Okay, and also I'll give you guys some suggestions of like the physical and mental practice you can do, the mindfulness practice you can do for strengthening your health and wellness in winter. Before I go into that, I do want to mention that every season has its own corresponding organ, right? So if you have been taking notes, you should let me know in the comment if you remember what were the corresponding organs for autumn and for summer and late summer. Okay, now for winter, because I just mentioned that winter is water element, right? So our corresponding organ for winter is something to do with water. Have a guess what it is. It's kidney and the urinary bladders, right? If you look at these two, they're very close to each other inside our body, and they both have the job of regulating our fluid, right? They filter out the fluid in our body and they store, and urinary bladder basically helps process the urine out of our body. So they both have the job of regulating water. You see how everything is just so tied in together? Okay, and for the kidneys and your urinary bladder to be strong in winter, you have to remember this. You got to keep them strong, okay? And you cannot overwork them. You have to drink lots of fluid, drink plenty of hot water. Okay, you can't see what's in there. It's hot water in there. You can put some aloe in there. You can put some tea powder in there. But drink hot water in winter, lots and lots of hot fluid. And also you have to keep certain points in your body warm. Okay, so those of you who do if you've gone to an acupuncture treatment, or some of you would like to try acupuncture, I highly recommend you guys to go do acupuncture in winter. Why? Because it's actually, all seasons great, but in winter, especially to keep your kidney and your bladder healthy, acupuncture is a great body work. Okay, it's a great energy work as well. Acupuncture is kind of an external energy work as well. You can see it that way, because we actually have quite a few meridian points in our body. I'll tell you guys where the spots are, which are directly corresponding to the health and the health of our bladders and also our kidneys. Okay, and when you go to acupuncturists, they will actually work on these points for you to make sure that your internal chi, your energy is flowing well, everything's in harmony, so that your kidney and your bladders can be healthy. Okay, but if you haven't gone, or if you want to kind of like keep your organs healthy by yourself, you can remember these spots. Okay, remember to keep your feet, your knees, your lower back, and your neck warm. Keep them covered and warm at all times in winter. Okay, do not expose your knees, do not expose your lower back, wearing midriff top and things like that, because these are the spots, like the neck, the lower back, your knees, and your feet are where your kidney and your bladder meridian points are. Okay, so if you don't do acupuncture, if you want to just keep yourself healthy, make sure you keep these spots warm and covered up. Okay. And some of you who probably do some kind of energy work like Tai Chi or Qigong, you can actually do the corresponding Qigong practice or yoga practice to strengthen your kidneys and your bladders. Okay, so these are some things you can do to strengthen your kidney health and your bladder health. Okay, this is very, very important. And go back to what I was mentioning before, right? Winter is the time to actually slow down and to do more internal work rather than doing too much, like energy work and, too much hustling and overworking. So if you overwork yourself in winter, this can really harm your kidney health. So that is actually something I want everyone to take note of, right? You cannot damage your kidney, cannot harm your kidney. Kidneys are so important. Now, what should we eat in winter? Okay, this is something that everybody, really is dying to know. Okay, so before I get into the whole list of it, I'm not going to give you guys a whole shopping list of what to buy, but just remember the key points. When in winter, eat things that are dark, like dark toned, dark color things. Okay, not just dark, but now everyone will be like, oh, just go look for anything that's dark. Not just dark, but they're dark, okay, salty, hydrating, and nourishing. I'll give you guys some examples. Black beans are great. Black sesames, they're great. Salt water fish, okay. Some legumes that are darker. Different root vegetables that are dark, like beets, for example, or purple yams. They're dark root vegetables. Certain shellfish, like mussels, they're dark as well. Dark colored berries in winter, like blackberries or dark raspberries, blueberries, okay? And those of you who eat grains, purple rice, black rice, and they're really good in winter, right? And also, for my TCM studies, dark food, especially things like black beans and black sesames, are extremely nourishing for the kidneys, okay? So just remember that everything I'm talking about here today for winter wellness are all interconnected with each other. Okay, nothing works separately. Everything's working together to nourish your body in winter. Okay, and so remember eating dark toned, salty, nourishing, and hydrating food. Not only that, but also be aware of what kind of food to limit. Okay, so limit cold food and raw food. Okay, try to not eat them at all if you can, but of course I understand that's going to be party time, social time. You may have to kind of come across certain raw food and cold food. That is okay, but just limit them. Okay, like winter is really not the time for you to eat salad, to be honest. Like obviously it depends. Like if you guys don't believe in the Chinese nutrition therapy, then go ahead. But if you do see that there's a point here, if you believe in it, and if you are open to trying it out and practice the wellness, then you can actually try it this winter. Limit the amount of time you eat salad in winter and see how your body responds. See how it changes the energy in your body and your blood flow and just the overall sort of like your overall being. See how that feels. Right, so I do highly recommend everyone to replace your raw salad with cooked vegetables. Right, you can have them roasted, you can have them steamed, boiled, blanched. There's so many ways to cook vegetables, right, and they can still be yummy. Okay, so remember, even drinks. Right, this is not the season for you to drink cold drinks. Leave that for summer. Right, so remember this: when you take your body according to the season, we are actually in resonance with the weather, not weather, with the nature, right? And when we're in the synchronicity with the nature, our body will thank us for it, and our body will actually definitely function a lot better that way as well. So remember to eat mostly warm food and cooked food. And with warming spices. So winter is the time for you to experiment with different spices, but stick to the warming spices, things like cinnamon, cardamom, ginger, turmeric, for example. Some of you guys are experts with spices, right? So this is the time to really experiment with them. Your body needs them. Okay, and finally, in terms of like personal practice, like mindfulness practice, why I always mention it, because it is really part of the holistic lifestyle, right, that I highly recommend everyone to do. But winter is really the time to do internal work, like do lots of internal work in winter. This is going to really benefit you when spring comes and when the new year comes. And if you look at the whole cycle, right, 5 seasons as a cycle, winter is the last one. Right? It's the last one of the cycle. Winter basically wraps up everything. It puts everything into stillness. Okay, and the birds and a lot of animals go into hibernation, and a lot of things come to fruition, or just a rest and still, like a break. Okay, so you have to really respect that break, and also give yourself the energetic break in winter as well, because it wraps up the whole cycle, right? And if we can actually really give ourselves that great time in winter to take good care of our body, mind, and spirit, then when the new cycle comes, when it comes to springtime, you will definitely have a great start. Okay, trust me on that. So focus on doing internal work, things like, you can practice your meditation, or you can do your breath work. If some of you, who just you can't stand meditation, like you just get distracted, I'll say, start with breath work, just focus on, the breathing in and then out, the nice and deep and long breath. Just pay attention to that, right? This is a good start already. You can, definitely do your yoga if you prefer yoga, and you can do your journaling. Some of you prefer to journal. Some of you prefer to do some reading, some kind of self-discovery, self-reflection reading work, or some kind of mentorship with, a mentor, for example. By the way, I do offer one-to-one coaching. So if some of you guys want to do some, one-to-one coaching with me, you're more than welcome to, book your time with me. You can also do different types of energy work. You can work with yourself, and or you can work with a mentor, or energy healer when it comes to work. Different types of internal work to like help you be grounded, to help you be centered is actually ideal in winter. And trust me, when you do this work, it will help you work through any kind of like depression or any kind of fear, because depression and fear are magnified in winter, right? So you do want to do that groundwork and also the internal work to overcome that, right? Of course, there is a lot you can do for winter, but these are some of the key points I've summarized for everybody. Yeah, so thank you so much for watching, and that's all for today. So remember the winter wellness self-care, and of course if you got more questions and anything else, just ask away, fire away your question, write it here or just post a question, wherever you like, right? So I'm here to help you guys, live a very body confident, healthier and happier life, right? So just don't be afraid to voice up. All right, guys, so have a lovely weekend.